Okay, this is going to be a chronological rundown of everything that's happened for uh, the individual who's producing the feature film about what's going on in my house. Um, so this is to the best of my memory, which is why I record everything. So in case there's any any dates or timelines or length of time or any of that stuff that needs to be found out, then we can go back, on my YouTube channel and find out, when those things happened and what exactly happened. Um, Now, before all this started, I didn't believe in the paranormal. I thought it was all BS. I thought that the YouTubers were doing it for subs, for money. Um, and I didn't believe any of it was real. I didn't believe in ghosts. I wanted to. I tried really hard to believe in ghosts, but I just didn't. Um, I was always not really sure what happened when we die, and it was always something that was very interesting to me. But I wasn't sure about the whole coming back. And a ghost to me was a fuzzy black and white photo from the 50s of a transparent, white blob standing on a staircase in an old mansion. I mean, that was my idea of a ghost. So I've learned a lot since then. But I'm going to run down everything that's happened, best of my memory, and I'll try to bring you up to date. Now, the first thing that I noticed was my dogs. I've had my dogs that I have now for about 4 years. Before that, I had dogs for 15 years. They all died of old age, so I'm familiar with dogs. I know how dogs react. I know how they act, how they react, and how they behave. So I was pretty familiar with the way that my dogs behaved. And when they did something that was out of the ordinary, I definitely took notice of it. So this is a little bit different now. This love seat was over here, and I was laying down on the love seat. And also keep in mind, while I'm shooting this video, keep your ears open for disembodied voices. That kind of stuff happens a lot when I'm shooting videos. But I was sitting on the love seat, and my dogs are on the love seat with me. And they both jumped up and stared into the kitchen. And I was looking at them, and I was thinking, what are they looking at? I turned around and looked, and there wasn't anything there. Well, then they jumped down off the love seat and they ran up to this point right here, and they looked up, and their tails were wagging, like they were looking up, like what they do to me when I'm going to give them a cookie. They come up to me, they sit down, they look up, and their tails wag. Well, that's what they were doing, and there wasn't anybody there. So that got my attention. I mean, why did they do that? That was really, really weird. Now, in this location here, I've had all kinds of captures. I've gotten video, I've gotten photographic evidence. I've gotten growled at in this area that I've got on video. The name of that video is Growled Out Again. That's been like the 20th time I've been growled at, but I was standing right here where I'm standing now, and I got growled at. And that was the second time I got growled at in this area. So there's a lot going on in this area right here. I don't know if it's under the house where the source of all that is. I don't know. But in this whole area, I've gotten all kinds of captures. So that stuck with me. My dog's doing that. I thought that was extremely weird. And the next thing that happened was I got up one morning and it was pouring down rain. And my wife and I both smoke, but we don't smoke in our house. And when it's raining, we'll smoke in the bathroom just because I'm not going to go stand out in the rain and smoke a cigarette. So I walked down to the guest bathroom, which is right here. Sorry about this mess. This is my wife's bathroom. We don't share a bathroom. I can't. I just can't. But I was in this bathroom smoking, and I was leaning up against the sink right here, and I heard footsteps coming up this hall. Now, if you have wood floors, you know what it sounds like when people walk across your floors. It's very distinct. I mean, you recognize it immediately as footsteps, somebody walking. Well, I heard him walk. I heard him come all the way up this hallway, and they stopped right here. And so I was leaning up against the sink here, and I looked up, waiting for my wife to come walking around the corner, and she didn't. And I was like, what is she doing? I mean, I know she's out there because we're the only two in the house. It's about 8 o'clock in the morning. So I know it's got to be her, so why didn't she come into the bathroom? So I walked out and I looked, and there wasn't anybody there. And I was like, what the hell? So I looked at the back door, there's nobody there. I walked all over the house, looked all over the house. There's no one here. But I know what I heard. So I walk all the way over to the master bedroom, and she's still laying over there in bed asleep. She hasn't even gotten up out of bed yet. So that stuck with me. I could not get that out of my head. What the hell's going on? I thought, my landlady's not just going to walk into my house. If her husband comes over to fix something, I'm going to know ahead of time he's coming over. He's not just going to walk into my house at 8 o'clock in the morning without knocking or anything. He's not going to do that. So who was that? There was, I'm thinking there's somebody was in my house and they got out before I found them. Or that's the only thing I can think of. And so that stuck with me. My dogs, that stuck with me. And after that, I started hearing I started hearing people walking around in my house in the middle of the night. I started hearing banging on the walls, and I mean banging. I mean like somebody took their fist and punched one of my walls. That's what it sounded like. And it would happen out of the blue, just at any time, and would scare the hell out of me. We were in the master bathroom, my dogs and I, one time, and I was sitting on the edge of my tub, and I was smoking a cigarette, and we heard that, and it was so loud that my little female dog, Guinevere, she jumped straight up in the air, turned around, and came down facing the other direction. That's how bad it scared her. It was extremely loud. And so that would happen at any time of the day or night. In the middle of the night, bam! I mean, someone would punch my walls. And something else that started happening was I started waking up between 2 o'clock and 4:30 roughly. Sometime in that time frame, I would wake up. And I don't know why. I didn't know why I was waking up. I mean, there's nothing going on in my room. There's no noise going on in my house. I just wake up. And so one night I was on the love seat, and I was on Facebook, and I decided that, all right, it's time to go to bed. And it was about 3 o'clock in the morning. And so I went and got in bed. And as I laid in bed, I noticed something, that my bed was shaking. Now, I don't mean it was coming down off the, up and down off the floor like The Exorcist or something. It felt like somebody was just bumping it with their hip. You can imagine what that feels like. That's what it felt like. It was very slight. It's like boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. And that's what was waking me up. But usually I'm in bed before then, so I would wake up, and of course it would stop, and it wouldn't happen again. And so I was left trying to figure out what the hell was going on and why I was waking up. So now I know there's something going on. There's definitely something going on. Now this is a manufactured home. It's only 20 years old. It's up to this point, it's got no history. The people who were here before us, they left. They never said a word about, hey, watch yourself in there. There's something going on. I mean, who would say that? No one's going to say that. I wouldn't say that. He'd look at you like you were a nut. So, all this stuff, all these little things are happening. My dogs really got my attention. And my dogs don't act like that. And so now, the next thing that started happening was I'm hard of hearing. So sometimes I have to yell in my videos so I can hear the sound of my own voice. I'm losing my hearing. I've got a nerve degeneration condition. So I would be laying on my love seat on Facebook. My dogs would jump up and run to the window. And my male dog would sometimes growl, look out the window and growl. Now we live out in the country. We do have deer and coyotes and wild boar and raccoons and skunks and possums. But he's not going to growl at a raccoon or a possum. He might look at them and be interested in them, but he's not going to growl at them. And it's pitch black dark out there. So I had no idea why he was doing that. And it wasn't just my male dog, it was both my dogs who were doing it. Just jump up out of a sound sleep and run to the window and stare and maybe growl. So one night my dog jumped down off the love seat and he went and he was sitting right here. And he was staring into the living room, into here. And I took note of it, and the next night he did it again. And the next night he did it again. And I thought, okay, I'm going to get a picture of this. I'm going to put it on Facebook so that my friends could laugh at him, because why is he doing that? He's acting bizarre. He's never acted that way before. Well, so my love seat, like I said, used to be here where my bird cage is. And so I'm sitting here where you can't see the window. But he was sitting right here. So the only way for me to get the window was to hold my camera out. Well, I couldn't hit my camera button while my phone's being held out like that, so I put it on a timer for 3 seconds, and I held it out like that, like this, and it took a picture. And you can see him right here in the picture. And I put it on Facebook. I said, look at my dog. He's just staring, at the window or into the living room. I mean, what's wrong with him? One of my Facebook friends said, you need to zoom into the window. And I zoomed into the window and I got the demon in the window pic. And I'll put that at the end of this video so you can see that. But I realized that's what was going on. My wife is an ordained minister. She had blessed the house up to the threshold. So whatever was out there couldn't come in. So it was tapping on my windows, looking for an invitation. And that's what my dogs were responding to. I couldn't hear it because of my hearing, but they could hear it. And every time it happened, they would jump up and run to the window and growl at whatever was looking back at them. Now, when I looked at the window, because all the lights are on in here, all I get is a reflection of the room. I can't see outside. So after that, I paid pretty close attention to that window, and I did get another photograph of something a little less frightening looking. It almost looks angelic, and it's leaning down and it's looking in the window like this. I'll put that at the end of this video also so you can see the difference between the two. I just sound like somebody stomping in my house somewhere. So at that point, now I'm sure that there's something going on. And I'm going to start putting my phones out to take pictures at night while I'm asleep. So I found an app called PhotoTrap that takes a picture when it senses movement. And I started putting that out, and I started getting some really incredible photographs of things going on now inside my house, not just outside my house. So I got on the internet and I started looking for paranormal groups, try to find somebody to come in and investigate my house and see what they could find out. And the first team that came in was West Tennessee Paranormal. They came over. They made us leave the house. We had to sleep in our car that night, which my wife wasn't too happy about. But they got some really incredible evidence. One of the things that we heard while we were outside was we heard Native American war cries, drumming, and musket fire in the woodline. Now, that alone should have told us, hey, it's the land, it's not the house. But for some reason, none of us thought of that. We thought it was something out and on the land somewhere that was coming into the house. We didn't think that the heart of the whole haunting might be out on the land. So they said that they couldn't help us because it was Native American, and they gave us some medallions that were blessed by a Catholic priest. And they said that while they were here, they were under psychological attack. They were wanting to kill each other, to be violent towards each other, and so they said they wouldn't be back. But that I would have to keep looking for another group. So they left. So then I found K&J Paranormal. At K&J Paranormal, Corey Ray and I started talking back and forth on Messenger and on the phone, and planning our attack for him to come over and investigate and then cleanse the house. And before he could ever even come over here, he was attacked in his own home. And his wife witnessed it. It was in his bedroom, and it was something that appeared in his bedroom, and scared the hell out of him, basically. So, but he still came over. He still came over and did his investigation. And at that same time, I was looking for another group also as a backup, in case Corey couldn't help me. I wanted to have somebody ready to come in right behind him and keep going. And I found CHP Paranormal, and I decided that I'll have them both over at the same time. While I was talking to Heather from CHP Paranormal, before they ever came over, I came under attack while I was on the phone with her. I got slapped across the forehead, and I had a big old scratch on my forehead that I have pictures of. While I was on the phone with her, and she was trying to keep me calm, but I was under attack that night. I ran out. Oh, it felt like they were doing this on the back of my neck. I ran out of my bedroom and I slammed the door. And when I did, I had an old work lanyard that went around my neck. And the thing that held my ID got wedged in between the door jamb and the door. And so the door wouldn't just open. I was going to have to shoulder it open. Well, when I heard something while I was on the phone with Heather, and I looked down, and my door was being pulled on from the inside. They were trying to come out to continue the attack on me, and they couldn't do it. And they did eventually stop. So the thing with paranormal groups is they don't just say, hey, yeah, I'll be over there in 15 minutes. They have to plan it. And sometimes it takes a couple of months before they can get out there, out to you to help you. I'm hearing like someone in sock feet stomping somewhere in my house. I don't know if my phone just picked that up. That was a disembodied voice. I don't hear it again. That was a disembodied voice, though. Keep your ears open for those while you're watching this video. So, they don't just come over, like the next day. It takes a while for them to plan it. A lot of them have day jobs. They don't do this for a living. They don't get money for it. So they have to plan it around their work schedules. So while I was waiting for them to coordinate with each other about when they were going to come over, I kept taking pictures in my house. One of the things I got was something under my bed. It's still there right now. It's a black apparition. It's translucent, and it looks like somebody doing this, like hunching down, like under my bed. As a matter of fact, I can probably get it on here if I go back there and show it to you. It's just freaky. It gives off a 5.0 signal on a EMF detector. Right underneath here. Right underneath there. Right here. I can see it because I know what I'm looking for. You may not be able to see it, but it's there. Occasionally I'll take pictures and I'll look and I can see it. I'll put the pictures of that at the end of this video also, from when it was really prominent and you could really see it good. So when the first indication that I had that this might be demonic was I sent that picture of that I just showed you under my bed. I sent one of those to Corey Ray, and I blew out the sharpness. I just sharpened and sharpened and sharpened and sharpened to bring out all this detail, as much detail as I could. And Corey Ray said, "You got an image of Malthus under your bed. Malthus is a demon." And so I looked up Malthus on the internet, and I'll be damned if it isn't Malthus. So that was the first time that I thought that this might be demonic. So after that, I continued taking pictures of my house. I saw like a fog coming out, and I'll put pictures of all this after this video. It's like a fog coming out of the floor. My dog saw it. My dog was looking at it. It was coming out of my kitchen floor, and it looks like a little demon, and he's reaching out. He's laying on his side, and he's reaching out, and he's white, and it looks almost like a bird. It's weird looking. But I put the phone right behind my dog and took a picture because I saw him staring, and then I went back to what I was doing on Facebook and forgot about it. And I was like, oh, I took that picture. So then when I saw it, of course, it was gone. I walked over there. It wasn't there anymore. But that whole area in my kitchen, I've gotten all kinds of captures. Now, another capture I got in my kitchen was an actual manifestation of a demon that I got live on video. And I took screenshots of that video, and I'll put them at the end of this also. But it was actually, while I was talking, you could see it coming off the top of the kitchen cabinets and manifesting. That again told me, hey, this is demonic. This is not just, some old man that used to live in this house that passed away, and is coming back for a visit. This is something evil. So what I started to do was I started to focus on the land. So I started doing EVP sessions outside, and I got all kinds of EVPs outside on my back deck. I didn't get them too much out on the front deck, but I got a lot of them on my back deck. So then Corey Ray and CHP came over at the same time. They did an investigation of the house. They put that investigation on YouTube, and their batteries all died, so they couldn't finish the video. But what they did catch is on YouTube. After they did their investigation, they cleansed the house, and that seems to have helped for about 4 months, and then because it's the land, it all started up again. So one of the things that I started finding when I was doing my EVP sessions was there's a little boy in here, and I can hear him with my ears. I hear him singing to my dog. I hear him talking to my dog. I hear him talking to me. I hear him calling for his mother. And I found out that next door, in the house next door, there was a little boy that was murdered about 16 years ago. I found out since then by talking with him that his name is Scott. He was 5 years old. And for some reason, him and all the other people that I recorded on this land are being held on this land. If you die on this land, you're stuck on this land. You're not going anywhere. There's something holding everybody here. Something very evil happened on this land a long time ago. and it's not allowing the souls to depart as they otherwise would be able to. It's holding them all here and tormenting them and torturing them. My sister-in-law then moved in with us with terminal emphysema. She died in the house, and I've got her photograph in here too, sitting at this table, staring out this window. And I've gotten her on in EVP sessions. Corey Ray got her on a spirit box where she says that she doesn't know why she's trapped here, but she can't leave. So I just started doing as many EVP sessions as I could. Videos, whenever anything weird started happening, I record it. And I got 300 videos of EVPs, photographs, audio recordings of everything I possibly could. The other entity around here that I've gotten recorded a lot is calls himself Chet. And from what they've told me, the EVP sessions that I've recorded out here, Chet is the evil entity here that's holding everybody here. They think he's the devil. I started getting, when I was asking the thing with the growly voice around here who he is, he tells me he's Baal. That's what he tells me. And he's told me that he's Satan and the devil. So now we've got Malthus, Satan, the devil, and Baal, all mentioned in this house. So I'm continuing to do more investigations. I do them, if I can, I'll do them every day. I'm about to do another one right now since I've got the house to myself. My wife's blessings don't help. She's an ordained minister, and her blessings don't help. I tried to contact the Catholic Church, and once I sent him the picture of the demon in the window, he stopped talking to me. I don't know if he thinks I'm a nut, or if he's too scared, but for whatever reason, they're not communicating with me anymore. So I'm trying to get another group out here to cleanse the land, because one of the things I found out during my EVP sessions was that there's a portal on this land where they're coming through, those that can't leave, and it's in the creek. And so they've been trying to get me to go down to the creek and actually get in the water. That's what they want me to do. And of course, I'm not going to do that. I've got recordings of something yelling from the creek, telling me you're dead. I've got them out there at the creek telling me get in the water. So this definitely revolves around the land. It's definitely evil, and it's going to have to be dealt with. I hope this helps you. If I can think of anything else, I'll be sure to let you know. The best way for you to get familiar with what's going on in this house is to go all the way down to my first video, where I start talking about the cross that we bought that we thought maybe was haunted. Turned out not to be the cross. But from that video on, I've got everything in chronological order that's happened, all the pictures that I've been able to take, all the audio recordings, all the videos, and it shows you from start to this very day right now, everything that's happened and where we are currently. Thanks a lot.